This video is going to show how to add and subtract fractions with like denominators. Now, in fourth grade, we only add and subtract fractions if the denominators are the same. They don't start to learn how to add or subtract fractions with unlike denominators until fifth grade. So let's look at an example here. We have 3/5. We have 3/5 plus 1/5. Now, let's draw this out. Let's see what happens when we draw it out. I'm going to cut this bar into fifths because my denominator is 5. And I want to shade in 3/5. Now, I'm going to get another color here. And since we are adding 1/5, I'm just going to color in another fifth here. Well, how many fifths have we shaded in? Well, here's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and here's 4/5. So we have shaded in 4/5. Now, if you look at this, the denominator has not changed because we're still dealing in fifths. We're not dealing in tenths. Both of our fractions are fifths, so the denominator never changes if it's the same. Now, if it's not the same, then that's a whole different lesson. But in fourth grade, we only deal with adding and subtracting fractions when the denominator is the same. So let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. Let's look at something like this. 2/8 plus 4/8. I'm going to draw this one out too. And I'm going to cut this one into eighths because my denominator is 8. I'm going to change pen color here. All right, I'm going to color in 2/8. And I am adding 4/8 to that. So I'm going to get another color. And I'm going to add 4/8. Now, I'm going to look at how many eighths I have shaded in. We'll have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. Now, I didn't do it with my first one because I was just showing you how to add them. But when you add fractions, you need to see if you can reduce the fraction or write it in simplest form. So I'm going to write the factors of 6, and then I'm going to write the factors of 8. I'm going to circle the factors that they have in common, which are 1 and 2. And its GCF, or its greatest common factor, is 2. Now, if you have forgotten how to simplify, there's a video in the fractions section of our how-to videos on how to simplify. But all you got to do now is once you find the GCF, you need to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So if you were to look at 2/8 plus 4/8 equals, it would technically equal 6/8, but the real answer is 3/4 because we want to simplify all of our answers. Now, let's look at subtracting. Let's look at something like this. 3/12 subtracting 1/12. Let's draw this out. I'm going to cut into thirds. Then I'm going to cut into sixths. Then I'm going to cut into 12ths. And I'm going to choose a new color here. I am going to shade in my starting fraction, which is 3/12. Then, I'm going to change my color again here. I'm going to subtract one of those 12ths because that's what I'm doing in my problems. I'm subtracting 1/12. So I'm getting rid of that one. Now, when I look at this, I am left with 2/12. So I think my answer is 2/12, which technically it is, but I need to simplify it. So I'm going to write the factors of 2 and of 12. Then I need to circle the factors that they have in common. Their greatest common factor is 2. So I'm going to divide my numerator and my denominator by 2, and I get 1/6. So even though the answer is technically 2/12, sorry, the real answer is 1/6 because you have to simplify. And that is how you add and subtract fractions with like denominators.